WordPress Accessibility Day 2023. Beyond the Visible. Crafting inclusive WordPress events for those with invisible illnesses and chronic disabilities. With speaker Birgit Olzem, WordPress specialist, #WP Diversity Advocate, Coach Birgit Media. This presentation was recorded September 28, 2023.
Welcome back to WordPress Accessibility Day 2023. My name is Samyukta Chadram and I am the accessibility consultant from India. And thank you for joining us for the Beyond and Visible Crafting Inclusive WordPress events for those with invisible illness and chronic disabilities with Birgit Olzem. And little bit about her. Olzem is a remarkable WordPress enthusiast known for her diverse background in psychology, design, and development. She has a strong commitment to the WordPress community and a passion for sharing knowledge. Over her 13 years of journey of contributing to WordPress, she has advocated for mental health awareness, diversity, and the recognition of non-coding contributors. Birgit is also a devoted mother and a grandmother. Recently, she victoriously bounced back from 2 total hip replacement surgeries, proving that she is as resilient as the WordPress platform itself. In addition to her work in consulting, teaching, and organizing events, she is exploring surface pattern design and fabric collection creation. Her warm and humorous personality add a human touch to the digital world, making her a true embodiment of WordPress values and community spirit. Please feel free to add your questions in the Zoom Q&A session and we will answer them at the end of the session. Use the chat to connect with our attendees.
Yeah, thank you very much for your introduction. I'd like to share my screen. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your presence today. And I just want to ask everyone who's listening and watching today, did you enjoy the WordPress Accessibility Day so far? For this talk, I invite you to embark on a journey that takes us beyond the visible and beyond the ramps and the sign languages and interpreters into a world where challenges aren't always seen, but deeply felt. I'd like to start with a question. When we think of accessibility at WordPress events, we often think of physical accommodations, but what about those invisible illnesses and chronic disabilities? This question is not just words, it's an invitation to explore and to understand to emphasize the community within our community, a group of individuals who are also maybe not visible signs of their battles, face hurdles every day and hurdles that can be magnified when attending events like ours. Invisible illnesses and chronic disabilities are as diverse as our community, affecting mental health, energy levels, sensory processing, and so much more. These conditions, so unseen, have been profound impact on those who live with them. And today we are not just going to talk about these challenges, but also explore how we as a community can evolve, adapt, and transform our WordPress events to be a sanctuary of inclusivity, a place where every member, disability or not, feels accommodated, but also welcomed, valued, and understood. So as we delve into this important conversations, I want you to keep this question in your mind and let it echo in your thoughts, and may it be a catalyst for a transformation that makes our community a beacon of inclusivity for all. And it's essential to understand that the perspective from which this conversation is be anchored. So allow me a moment to introduce myself. On the right-hand side on the slides, you see a picture of me. This was taken during the ambassador talk on the International Book Fair in Frankfurt, Germany, back in 2010. I was talking about how to build a portfolio website and build a marketing strategy for self-publishing book authors. And the photo shows me as a female person in a white blouse and dark cardigan with short brown hair and wearing a pair of sunglasses as a kind of a tiara. And me, the person, holds a microphone in one hand and in the other hand a book. The book was self-published by me in 2009. And to tell a bit more about me, I'm a proud mother of 5 children and a grandmother of 2. Each of them are enriching my life in unique ways and teaching me invaluable lessons about love and resilience on a daily basis. I'm also a proud mother, a professional entrepreneur with a diverse portfolio, and also an artist who delves into web design. Each role I play, it's like a distinct color to my life's canvas and contributing to my growth and understand the world around me. And I'm also a certified life coach, wearing a lot of hats during my time, my life existence. And I love that I have the privilege to be a partner in a journey of someone's life, and to understand why we are here for the WordPress Accessibility Day. I use WordPress since it first released, and I'm contributing to WordPress since over a decade now. And so I'm deeply involved into the community. And as we proceed, I like to give you an understanding that this shaped my perspective and my dedication to WordPress and accessibility. But also, I'm a person with chronic health issues, and I like to share what's about understanding invisible illness and chronic disabilities. So we are stepping into the space where the unseen is brought to light, where silent struggles are given a voice, and where the invisible becomes visible. In these moments, we will go on a journey of exploration and discovery, and we want to discuss 3 pivotal questions. And the first is, we will unravel the enigma of invisible illness and chronic disabilities. And what are they? How do they manifest? And why are they often cloaked in silence and invisibility? And next, we will delve into the intricate way these conditions impact event participation. And we will also explore the unseen barriers, the silent challenges, the often unspoken needs that define the experience of those living with those conditions. And finally, we will confront the imperative of visibility in a world that often validates what's seen, and how do we acknowledge, validate, and accommodate the unseen? Why does visibility matter? And how can we transform experiences and foster inclusivity and build bridges of understanding and support? Yeah. What are invisible illness and chronic disabilities? We are confronted with the reality that invisible illness and chronic disabilities are often overlooked. And these conditions are not immediately apparent. They lurk into the shadows, unseen. And they do not announce themselves with visible signs, like you don't see any crutches or a wheelchair. You can't see them. And that's why we are talking about invisible, because it's not that obvious if someone is facing a condition which is not apparent to anyone. But also they include conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome and the exhaustion which comes with chronic fatigue, but also the silent battles of mental health conditions, and also complex challenges of neurological conditions, and like also having autoimmune diseases, and you don't have any prediction how is your day tomorrow and how do you feel in the next hour. For instance, I need to pace myself to power my day through, and sometimes I need to take breaks, for instance, and there's so much we have to cover that a lot of people don't understand what it means to face an invisible condition and health condition. How do these conditions impact event participation? I'm a really interested person in attending WordCamps, and I also face a lot of struggles when attending WordCamps because of my health conditions. And I like to explore what it means to attendees. For instance, energy levels. I don't know if you are known with the spoon theory, when someone tells, I just have only 3 spoons left in a day. It is meant to be that we have to pace ourselves and be really careful about our energy levels. Imagine a smartphone, and the charging of your smartphone runs really low on battery, and so you have to be very careful what are you doing with your fully charged or half of charged mobile phone. And it's also the individual journey through a WordPress event, is because we have a kind of a silent dance of energy with ebbs and flows, and but it's not visible to anyone. And the same goes with sensory sensitivity. And imagine you have a bright light on the ceiling, and it reflects on your glasses, for instance, and is really sharp in the eyes. And that is also an overwhelming cascade when you have also sensory overload, not only from lights, but also from sounds. If a sound is echoing in the room, or there's too much chatter around you and you need to focus on what the person in front of you is saying. And yeah, that's also the sensory sensitivity, also reflecting on clothes that you are wearing on that day. It can also give something on top on the cascade. But also the cognitive challenges. I'd like to explore the issues like anxiety or other cognitive aspects that are not obvious to everyone, but someone is dealing with understanding. For instance, I'm a non-native English-speaking person. I'm from Germany, and I have sometimes struggled to understand others when they don't speak in a clear voice, or if they are talking really fast or have a strong dialect when they are speaking English. And so it is really difficult for me to process what someone is saying, to also understand what the person is saying. And yeah, that's what's also the cognitive challenges on the language bases are, but also someone with different backgrounds has also difficulties to grasp the environment, and also maybe distracted by the environment. So that is also the challenge someone faces. And that's why also visibility matters. We have, it's just not a phrase. I'm really advocating for visibility and why it matters, and representation matters. It's a movement, and I like it also to be a call of action, that we are rooting for those facing those challenges, and also create awareness, so that someone gets more empathy and understanding, and also to reducing the stigma and the misconceptions around invisible health conditions, and also illuminating the pathways where judgment maybe fade away, and hopefully fade away. But also to ensure that we tailor our accommodations as WordPress event organizers, and also fostering participation and contribution to those events. And when you see how we can accommodate during a WordPress event like the WP accessibility, for instance, the organizing team did a great job to make it as inclusive and accessible as possible. And because they listen about the challenges someone faces while attending, but also participating on an event. And this is also a space where diverse voices aren't just heard, but also amplified. And it's not just a concept, but also a living, breathing entity. And empowerment isn't just a gift we offer, and it's a space we create, and where every member of our community can sense the power of their truths and their own yielding potential. And that's why I think it's very important that we empower our attendees, and that we be also empathic about it, to learn, and be also open-minded to learn more about it. When we think about invisible conditions, I like to transition to an analogy. I find it's really simple because it compares as a bridge between the tangible and intangible, and the seen and unseen. Invisible disabilities are like a Wi-Fi signal. Picture this: you walk into a room, your device in one hand, and there are no visible cords, no tangible connections yet. In the silence and in the invisibility, there's a powerful signal enabling communication, connection, and interaction. But do you see it? Do you see it really? Can you grasp it? Can you grab it? So, and just like Wi-Fi, invisible disabilities are in our spaces, in our communities, in our events. And they may not be seen, but they are deeply felt. And they may be not heard, but they are profoundly impacting experiences and interaction, and also engagement. And think about, we don't question the existence or the impact of a Wi-Fi signal, even if it's invisible, but we acknowledge its presence, and we adapt our actions and our spaces, but also our technologies to harness the power of a Wi-Fi signal, and to facilitate connection. and to bridge distances. Similarly, the invisibility of a certain disability should not negate our existence or their existence or dilute their significance. So that acknowledging that invisible disabilities or invisible conditions exist, and that we accommodate this because they're there, even if they are not on the surface. It is crucial that we ground our understanding and empathy in numbers. I did a short research and I found that 1.3 billion people are, that is about 16% of the global population, are living with a severe disability. And even if each number of this statistic is a person and an individual with experiences and challenges and the contributions that are as diverse as they are significant, but it's difficult to understand that they are not visible. But also when we think about disabilities, the image of a wheelchair often prevails. And it's a visible symbol. We are presenting accessibility by presenting it with a iconography of a wheelchair, but it represents only 2% of people with disabilities. The overwhelming majority, a full 80%, are grappling with invisible disabilities, and they also navigate a world where their challenges, even unseen, are as real and as impactful as any visible disability. And yes, many of them are active in the WordPress community. They are developers, designers, users, contributors, and they enrich our community with their skills, insights, and perspectives. Their invisible disabilities are not barriers to their contributions, but also they are aspects of their identity, and they also deserve acknowledgement, understanding, and accommodation. As we move forward, let's take a moment to delve into the specific types of invisible health conditions. While the spectrum is really vast and diverse, we will also focus on a select to provide you a glimpse of the experiences. And for this example, I picked some well-known conditions like ME/CFS, long COVID, CPTSD, ADHD, and autism spectrum disorders. Each of these conditions, so invisible as profound, they have an impact on the life of everyone who's facing them. And I just want to emphasize that this is not an exhaustive list. The spectrum of invisible health conditions is diverse as humanity itself, and each individual experience is unique and shaped by the interplay of their condition and environment and personal resilience. And we would like to talk first about ME/CFS. It's a topic close to my heart because I'm currently also suffering on that. And it's the abbreviation of myalgic encephalomyelitis or chronic fatigue syndrome. And it's also a condition characterized by really heavy fatigue that you can't accommodate with more sleep. And it is a deep exhaustion what you're facing. It is also a physical discomfort. Imagine a fatigue that is so intense that if gravity itself is pulling you down, and also making every step and every thought as a monumental effort. For instance, when when I had a flare up, I even couldn't walk from the bed to the bathroom without exhausting pain, and it was really difficult to accommodate my daily existence. For instance, I'm really glad I'm doing better now, but it's really hard to accommodate those. And imagine that translating to WordCamp attendance or meetup attendance in person, but also attending to a virtual event like the WP Accessibility Day, which is a 24-hour day, and you want to learn a lot, but you can't sit for a long time with this condition. And in the same spectrum also fits in the long COVID. It is also known like a neurological effect, similar to ME/CFS, where they also have symptoms persisting for weeks or even months, and it's like a ghost of an illness, and you can't see the presence when you're working alongside a person, and you can't see it on their face. And the same goes also for complex post-traumatic stress disorder. For instance, someone who has several traumatic events facing, and that can also lead to certain chronic diseases, and affect the mental health and your emotional regulation, but also relationships. And the same goes also for ADHD, known as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And ADHD is previously more known from boys or young boys, but also recent research shows that also women have a form of ADHD, where the hyperactivity part is more related in the thought process, and it's overwhelmingly you have to think about every step you do to fulfill a task. And it also is a whirlwind of thoughts, ideas, impulses, but also you get easily distracted. So when someone enters a room, you're seeing it in your periphery, or you're hearing some noises, or a dog is barking, and you're already distracted. And it can have a toll on your cognitive ability to understand what someone is just telling. But lastly, I just also want to include the autism spectrum. There's sensory experiences, like social interaction, that can be complex. And these also have challenges that someone doesn't have the ability to understand social cues, or sarcasm, or a twink with the eye, or something like that. And also the repetitivity of behavior someone needs to have a clear structure where they can go and what can they achieve. And each of these conditions, even if they are invisible to the broader audience, they are real. And those conditions shape the lives and the experiences and contributions of many in our WordPress community. And I'm an advocate for inclusivity. And I like you to remember that every step we take to accommodate and understand and support individuals with invisible health conditions is a step toward a WordPress community that is truly diverse, inclusive, and also makes someone feels belonging, and offers equitable ways to enter the community and stay active in the community. From the perspective of a WordCamp organizer, while I'm currently organizing WordCamp Germany, the first time as I'm sorry, I switched sides. Yeah. I like to tell a bit about me in this moment. It's more about the invisible illness and chronic disabilities. They're abstract terms, but they are also lived experiences. You see the tangible impacts on the outcome of someone else. On the screen, you see a photo of me captured during a talk at the WordCamp Utrecht in 2018. And this moment captures me as a speaker, but also as a storyteller, talking about my triumphs, my challenges, and also the silent battles. On the picture, I'm holding an assistive gear I used to pull socks onto my feet. It's just a simple tool, but it symbolized for me the profound journey of acceptance and adaptation. As in an introduction, I already have 2 total hip replacements. But back in the day, while standing on that stage during the WordCamp in Utrecht, I had a really heavy pain in both hips. And it was really difficult for me just to do a mundane task like pulling up socks. And I utilized this, let's rephrase it a bit. I was thinking about, I don't have any disabilities, but I needed some assistive gear. And it took me a long time to accept the fact that I need assistive gear. But when I learned with this gear, it was so helpful for me to go through my day that I was kind of thinking about why didn't I use it more even earlier, so to make my life even better and easier. And it's really interesting to see how someone ignores there is assistive gear, but also learns on a hard way that using something is more easier. For instance, when I travel to WordCamps, I order, when I travel by plane, the accessibility service. I get wheelchaired or buy a caddy car to the security check, passport control, and even go to the gate, because walking long distances is for me still a challenge, and I need to take every 50 meter a break, because I'm my pulse is pumping up and I don't get enough breath and oxygen, and it's really difficult for me walking long distances. And that is also I'd like to investigate on the next slides for thriving WordPress event organizers, that there are difficulties and how we can manage those and accommodate those. We navigate through the diverse landscape of invisible illness and common challenges. For instance, the difficulty, fatigue, and energy management. As I recently told, I need to take some breaks from chronic fatigue syndrome. And when I'm attending to an event like the virtual event. It's really interesting that we can accommodate this by offering flexible participation options like the WP Accessibility Day, for instance, where the sessions are getting recorded, and some days or maybe weeks, how long it takes to process all those videos from 24 hours, but they are offered as videos you can rewatch and watch in your own pace and pause in between, and there are also breaks scheduled, and the same goes for in-person events. You can offer quiet and comfortable spaces for attendees to rest and make sure that you can have some seating positions, or like a chair or a bench in the hallways that people like me who need to take some breaks for long walking distances can take the break and don't look for any ways to sit on the floor, because when I sit on the floor, I can't get back up. And also have a flexible schedule so that you have a mix of short and longer sessions with breaks. The same goes for the cognitive overload. Like for virtual meetups, it's settings is interesting. Important to provide a clear and concise agenda ahead of time, and also give visual aids and some infographics to simplify the complex topics, for instance, and keep also the content of slides as short as possible, and use a good hierarchy so that someone can grasp the content much easier. For the in-person event accommodation, as the same like the quiet areas, is also quiet rooms where attendees can take a break from sensory overloads, and also provide different form of materials or summaries for sessions. It is quite an organizational burden sometimes to accommodate such things, but in the end, everyone benefits from this. Similar goes with social anxiety. The pandemic was also playing a big part, that some people have learned that they don't do well in groups of people, and they have maybe not all have a disorder, but sometimes a spectrum of this, and we can, as an organizer, accommodate is that we allow participation via chat instead of a video, or that we allow anonymous participation, that they can use pseudonyms or remain anonymous. And also in-person events, we can create introvert zones with less sensory overload, and we designate areas where attendees can network in smaller groups, and also maybe offering also a buddy system. If you can imagine having a volunteer group who offers assistance as a buddy, so that we can pair the attendees to help them navigate the event. It's not only for attendees like having visible disabilities, but also invisible disabilities. And the same goes for dietary restrictions. And I see we are running low on time, so I skip through some slides. I will provide the slides after the talk, and feel free to read the tips in your space and in your time. There are difficulties also for medical treatment management. And when we are creating inclusive and accessible WordPress events, we have some practical strategies, and like the planning phase and communication. And we need to have some kind of survey feedback so that we have a diverse planning committee for venue selection, etc. And also tips for attendees to be patient and understanding, and ask before you're offering help, and educate yourself about invisible disabilities. And I like, as we near our presentation, I like to invite you to have like a visual and auditory spectacle, like an orchestra. Imagine with me, if you will, an orchestra, and where each musician, whether you can see them or not, is holding an instrument, and a silent yet profound testament to their unique skills and experiences. And this orchestra, with every pause and every note and every crescendo, is a dance of a diverse experience, and a melody of silent battles. And someone who can't hear sound maybe also feels the rhythm in their body. And think of the WordPress community as an orchestra. Each member, whether their challenges are visible or not, plays a vital role. And we need to recognize and accommodate each member. So it is the key to the harmonious performance. Because when we embrace inclusivity, there's everywhere is heard, then we experience value, and also that we are feeling belong. And as said, accessibility benefits everyone, because it's not just a feature, but also a commitment. And we have a diverse group when we invite everyone to be accessible on our events. And the picture shown on this slide is taken by Susha Toda during the WordPress community contributor day at the WordCamp US this year. I was participating to it, and it shows a diverse group of people with big smiles on their faces, and they raise their hands of enjoyment. And it was a really accessible event, but also displays that when we foster good connections, that everyone is really interested into participating in an event like WP Accessibility Day, or also any WordCamp. So, as this echoes our today's information, I apologize that I struggled a bit with the timing, but I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of your presence and your engagement. And the photo on the left-hand side on the slide shows me captured in a moment of joy when one of my daughters got married. And it serves also as a reminder to continue this conversation. And I'm accessible. You can connect me and find me on social sites as @CoachBirgit, or on my website, coachbirgit.com. And I like to invite you that we can together create events that everyone feels welcomed. And also, like the common saying, We came for the software, but we stayed for the people.
Thank you, Birgit, for sharing a great information, which are eye-opener. And also we have gained a deeper understanding of this topic. Really, we appreciate your time for sharing great insights. And we have a couple of questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, since invisible disabilities are not evident, how can we prepare to address them, and how do we know we are doing a good job?
Thank you for this great question. As I already mentioned, there are ways to maybe survey a pre-event organization, which kind of disabilities. We need to be aware of the anonymity, but also maybe privacy, GDPR. It is a sensitive topic to ask for. Not everyone is open to share this, what's absolutely fine. But we are currently on the WordPress, Make WordPress ecosystem on the DIB working group. And we are currently working on facilitating a survey or offering a survey to understand better how we can accommodate the invisible disabilities.
Nice to know. And the other question is from anonymous attendee, and it is saying, you mentioned long COVID, and I noticed the US Center for Disease Control has increased their percentage of people who have disabilities from 25% in 2019 to 27% now. Do you think that might be due to long COVID, or is there another explanation?
Thank you for this question. I'm not a research expert in that, but I can just tell from my perception. I think long COVID puts a lot into this, and any viral infection gives an internal stress, and COVID as a virus infection is also tailoring to this. And I saw a lot of people mentioning that also long COVID is raising the disability numbers, and I think it contributes to this number, long COVID. Yes.
That's nice to hear from you, and really thank you for your time, and we really appreciate yours. And thank you for attending the session with Birgit. And you can continue the conversation in the chat or on social media using hash WP11YDay and hash WPAD2023. And we also appreciate if you go to 2023.wpaccessibility.day/feedback to provide anonymous feedback to our speakers on their presentation, and can enter to win a chance for a t-shirt. Stay tuned for the great next talk. That is simple ways to make your email accessible with Jason Lakado at 8 UTC. Don't forget to visit our sponsor page to get virtual swags. See you right after the break.
Thank you to WordPress Accessibility Day 2023 sponsors. Platinum sponsor, Equalize Digital. Equalize Digital's Accessibility Checker plugin is an automated accessibility scanning tool that helps WordPress websites become and stay accessible. Platinum sponsor, Gravity Forms. Gravity Forms is the professional form builder that you need to create beautiful, powerful, and accessible forms. Gold sponsors, 20i, DQ, Empire Caption Solutions, Pressable, and WP Engine. Silver sponsors, CodeGeek, Drake Cooper, GoDaddy, Lone Rock Point, NerdPress, Overnight Website by Kinetic Iris, Riola Networks, A11Y Collective, and The Blogsmith. Bronze sponsors, Accessicart, Green Geeks Web Hosting, Hall Analysis SEO Consulting, HDC, ITX, IvyCat, MetaBox, Pixel Chefs, Simply Schedule Appointments, SiteGround, Termageddon, Underrepresented in Tech, Weglot, and Yoast.